Oh, and we are live. Greetings and salutations, my beautiful people, and welcome to another lovely episode of Off the Post. As you can see, I'm not DJ Redcap. He was unavailable tonight. So you're going to be stuck with the two of us tonight. We apologize in advance for that. Let's go down to our one-woman panel and see how they're doing. Danielle, how you doing today?
Other than the fact that I have to use my phone because my computer's not cooperating, and I got back from Kansas City at 1 a.m. and I had to work at 8. I'm doing all right.
That's good. Good. Making do with what we got. Alrighty, let's get into the action this week. Had the NWSL back in full, and I'm sure we were all very thankful for that, to wash the bad taste of the Olympics out of our mouths. So, first game on the list was Washington versus Orlando. Danielle, thoughts on that game?
Well, it ended exactly how I thought it would. I actually checked my prediction. I was like, yes, I was right. It was a decent game. Let's see, Washington 2, Orlando 1. My girl Apple scored that goal for Orlando, so I'm pretty pumped about that. Defense was a little shaky for Orlando, kind of hurt Harris a little bit there. Let's see, goals from Williams and Narin, everyone says it different. I knew I was going to get stuck with that. So I think it was the first good game back. Technically, I guess the Houston Spirit game was the first one back, but it was a good way to kick off the weekend.
Yeah, for me it was or it wasn't. Washington had some good moments, but I feel like their goals came more off of screw ups by the Orlando defense rather than them being created. Although the move that Shayna Williams pulled to basically fake Kyle out and then shoot it from what was an almost impossible angle was pretty cool. So that was it. Yeah, about what I expected. Washington did have the advantage of coming back a week early, so they looked a little less rusty than Orlando did. As for Orlando, pray for Ashlyn Harris during that game. Her back line was absolutely no help, and
Nope.
and she looked like she was about to burst a blood vessel at some point. So that was pretty about what we expected. Yeah, tough break for Orlando. They pretty much need to win out to make the playoffs, and I don't see that happening. So
Decent first season, though.
yeah, I mean, I think they've got almost as many points as Houston did. Maybe little couple less. I'm not exactly sure how many they had, but it's about what you expect from an expansion team, even one with Alex Morgan. Next game we have is the final chapter of the Cascadia rivalry during the regular season. Maybe we get a playoff thing. Maybe we don't. Seattle Reign versus Portland Thorns. For me, it was a strange game. I think looking back on it, it was kind of expected because Portland has all these players that they have to bring back in after their replacements had done pretty well while they were gone. They had that good result in Seattle where they basically bunkered and got one good opportunity and converted it. So it was a game where I think the layoff hurt Portland more than it hurt Seattle. Certainly having Amandine Henry go out so early on was definitely not in the plans. I think Parsons had to adjust his strategy and he didn't do a good job. Great game from Manon Mel. It's been waiting all season for her to have that massive breakout, and she finally does. Not great from Betos on those goals, but that one that she chipped over, that Manon chipped over Betos was beautiful. It's something very similar to the goal that Alex Morgan scored against the Flash earlier this season that I'm still not over. Oh, it's still not over. That one was terrible. Portland, I think, I have such a soft spot for Catherine Reynolds, her time with the Flash. I have a soft spot for all former Flash players. Yeah, not her best game. She's definitely played better. And I think Portland kind of got caught at the end because they were pushing for that equalizer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, after Long had scored to pull one back. Uh, yeah, let's just say she scored. I'm not going to go further onto my piece about Ellen. Not a fan. After she kind of scored on what was a bit of a lucky touch to pull one back, they were pushing forward, and then it was Rapinoe of all people who came in late and looked gassed like 10 minutes in. You can tell she's clearly still trying to get her fitness back after the ACL. Further proof that she shouldn't have maybe been in Rio, but that we've hashed that debate to death. So, but yeah, I didn't get to see the goal live because I'd already switched to the flash stream by then. But watching it back, that was just beautiful. Such a good goal. Nothing Bezos could have done on that. So yeah, I think overall it was another fair result. Seattle, they looked like the Seattle of old. I mean, we've seen them have some good wins, but that was the first time they looked like the Shield winners that we had become so used to seeing. You know, good passing, good everything. Another good game from Kopmeyer. So that was that were my thoughts on that. Next game on the list is Chicago versus Sky Blue. I confess I actually didn't get to watch this one because the Flash game was on at the same time. Only got to see the highlights. What did you get to see of this one, Danielle, and what were your thoughts?
I got to see the end. I was, down in Kansas City. My thoughts, well, first of all, the first thing that I really saw, and then I kind of went back in time, was that foul, which was pretty brutal. Not great to see Kelly go down on that ankle. So hopefully it's not too bad. Didn't sound like it's good, but we'll see. We had McCaffrey score the first goal, which I am friends with the Breakers fan, and she just laughs every time. My friend Dana, because McCaffrey just couldn't. This season was so tough, and she's on a roll already for Chicago. 2 games, and she's on a roll. You've got Press and Huerta, which what I like about both of them scoring goals is what was it like 2 months ago? Oh, Huerta can't score if Press is on the pitch, and looks like we got rid of that. So Chicago's looking strong. I like it for them. I want Chicago to do well since, well, my team isn't. So good to see from them.
Yeah, like I said, I only got to see the highlights. That sky blue goal that was disallowed, questionable. I've watched it a number of times, and I still can't. I still really don't see where it was. You know, maybe it was in, maybe it was not. The jury's still out on it. So, yeah. I mean, in this case, we kind of have to go with it wasn't called. It was an offside or whatever. So, bit of an unlucky break. Yes, from what I could see, Sky Blue had some struggles defensively, some
Yes.
good hand saves from Caroline Stanley, but apparently her questionable foot skills got her into trouble at some point. So sorry we couldn't go into much detail, but didn't get to see too much of it. Next game is the Western New York Flash versus Houston Dash. I was so frustrated by the end of this game. I went going in, I was like, okay, if we don't lose to the Dash, if we can get a draw, I'll be happy. At the end of the game, I'm like, story of our season. We get a billion chances and we can barely convert. With Flash had like 3 early chances in the first 5 or 6 minutes that were just off target by a mile, and I'm like, this is going to be one of those games where we have all the chances and we can't score, and then Houston's going to get that one chance and they're going to walk away. But fortunately, that wasn't the case. Another really strong game from Cleo High. I don't know what she's been doing since early July, but whatever it is, it's working for her
Keep
because
it up.
yeah, because she has been on an absolute tear. By far the best player on that team. They've had some good players, but she has really been carrying the offense with a lot of the national team players being away. Criticism I want to make of more than one player, but Poliana, brilliant going forward. She had some really good services. Going back, not so much. Kind of got caught off a little bit. Gave the Flash some opportunities. Uh, yeah, Morgan Bryan had a quiet night, but not necessarily in a bad way. I mean, she didn't have that one play that really stands out, but she was helping control when the Dash were able to control the midfield. She was helping control it. Can't really fault Lydia Williams for either of the goals. I mean, she did have a good save. So did D'Angelo. I mean, they each had one save. It's like, how did they pull that off? But you just shrug your shoulders and move on. Good performances for them. Yeah, problems. Abby Dahlkemper, what were you doing on that high goal? Did you not learn what happened when Rachel Daly scored because you gave her all the space in the world? What are you doing? You've been so good this season, and to do that in 2 straight games is no. Don't do that anymore. Sorry.
You okay? You okay?
I had to rant because that was just driving me nuts. I'm thinking you should have learned from what happened when Daly did it to you, but no, she gives Ojai all the space in the world to shoot. Guess what? Ojai's going to score. So that was kind of frustrating. But on the positive side for the Flash, Lynn Williams is only going to get assists, and Jess McDonald didn't get on the score sheet at all. But those two, I mean, you can tell there's just something there. It's like what a little bit of a lesser version of what we used to see from Alex and Abby in 2012. They just have this totally simpatico relationship, and it is producing results for the Flash. When they're both on their games, they're killing it. Jess is not going to get any points for Fantasy League, but she really did do a lot to help set up those goals, and whatever the Dash were doing on both those goals, they need to not do that again, because that was total ball watching 101. I think it cost them 2 points. So yeah, back to the drawing board for Randy Waldrum and the crew. Back to the drawing board for Paul Riley. Get ready for this weekend. Houston. I think it was kind of the final nail in the coffin of their playoff chances. I mean, yeah, they could still win out, but just too much needs to happen. And for anybody saying, if they'd had Carly Lloyd, they probably would have won. Maybe. Or maybe she would have made a mistake that would have led in a third Flash goal and the Flash might have won. You don't know. So, no use saying what is, because it's happened. It's done. She wasn't there. I was kind of disappointed because, I'm sure she would have loved to have been playing against the Flash, but that's it. Yeah, well, opportunity is lost for both sides. Okay. Got that one. Final game of the week. Our game of the week. FC Kansas City versus Boston.
That game didn't happen. It was canceled.
Yeah, you wish. Unfortunately, reality says it did happen.
Canceled.
I know this is very painful for you. Want to tell us what you thought about this game?
Well, it was hot and they canceled. No, it was a frustrating game to watch as a FCKC fan. We had some good chances, especially in the first half. I don't know what it looked like on the stream, but Heyo had a shot that, I'm not kidding, it was right in front of me. It was inches away. It was so close. Couple chances like that. Greenwich was just on fire. She had 6 saves. It was her second consecutive shutout. There's just no beating her yesterday. It was great. Helped Boston get their first road win in 2 years. And so their first win in Kansas City. So it was, I know some pretty happy Boston fans, some pretty sad FCKC fans. Let's see what else happened. Barney actually had a good game. She had some good saves and all that. In the 38th, the score off the rebound, and then Christy Muse for her first goal of the season in the 80th minute. which just kind of hurt. It hurt a lot. But yeah, I think this was the final nail in FCKC's the coffin of the season. Let me try that again. The final nail in the coffin of our season. But I saw good things. Like I said, Heyo was a woman on a mission. She plays her heart out. She was playing for something to prove. We got some of our rookies. We got Reed, not a lot of playing time, but got her back out there. And considering that our coach wasn't there and it was Hugh coaching, it was decent. I would have told Hugh to make a couple different subs, but there's no So that was my opinion. It was hot and I was sad and I ate my feelings afterwards.
I can't say I blame you. I've had those games where I've had to consume a lot of liquids not safe for children after some really bad Flash games. Yeah, this game could have very easily ended in a draw. I mean, Kansas City had so many good chances.
So many.
And just about all of them were started by some way, shape, or form by Heather O'Reilly. Oh my God, did she have an amazing game? So many good runs, so many good chances created. She had that one that was a cross that trickled right across the goal and just went this close to going in. I thought it was in when it happened and it went wide. I'm like, oh my God, major bullet dodged by Boston.
5 feet in front of me, and it really was that close. We watched it. It was like, oh.
It's like, you gotta be kidding me. I think after those, you just have to kind of shake your head and say, this is just not going to be our day. So,
Our season.
Or season. I've been there. And now Kansas City is unfortunately there. So, yeah, Heyo, is Heyo. She goes out, does her job, no BS, doing everything she can, and everything was there except for the finish. So, bit unfortunate for her. Like you said, Kranich was absolutely on fire, made some really, really good saves, especially in the second half because the Boston back line was not rock solid like you would normally expect from a shutout, and she did have to come up with some.
Mm-hmm.
I think she had one in the second half that was like almost point blank, a shot from who else? Heyo, that she had to deflect out for a corner, and I'm like, how in the world did she stop that? And this is coming from a player who shipped 7 goals in a 7-1 loss to Western New York back in June. So I think that was probably, it sucked for her at the time, but it was probably a good learning experience because ever since then she has been played so much better.
Mm-hmm.
She looks so much more confident. So yeah, good game for her. A really solid game, I think, from Angela Salem, another player who I have another soft spot for. She's not quite as physical as a player like a Desiree Scott, but she kind of fills that same role, and I think she did a really good job of that. Yeah, I don't really see any fault on Barney for both of those goals.
Yeah.
I know that was Shepard's first goal of the season, but again, you don't give a player that time and space to shoot because they will punish you every time. And that's what happened. Defense was standing around ball watching, and Shepard just like, oh, you gonna let me shoot? Okay.
Cool.
What?
No, she was like, cool, gonna shoot it.
Yeah, gonna shoot it. No big deal. Just give my team a lead. And then the Mewis goal, I'm still trying to figure out what the hell the defense was doing. I'm figuring out who should have been covering that because pretty much, again, everybody's standing around saying, I thought you had it. No, I thought you had it. And then Mewis is like, oh, nobody wants to clear it out. Fine, I'll just score my first goal of the season. So, and that was good for her because she's had some really bad luck this season, with ankle injuries, I think Boston, looking better without her on the field. I think she's trying to prove a point. So yeah, unfortunately, it had to be against Kansas City, but that has to feel so good for Boston getting that.
Oh, yeah.
Getting that 19-game winless streak, almost over 2 years.
2 years.
2 years. So finally, the Flash are not the last team to lose to Boston on the road. Yes. No, that's your team. So yeah, it's good for them to get that off their back. Good for them to get consecutive wins. Good for them to get 2 clean sheets in a row, which they hadn't done in the league this season, which I was actually a little surprised. I thought maybe in the first season they might have had a couple games where they got at least 2 shutouts, but they hadn't. So it was good for them. So it was a better game than I thought it was going to be. I thought, it's like, I know Kansas City's been struggling, but maybe they'll find that one spark and go for it, but it just wasn't happening for them. So, good game overall. I think on balance, Boston was slightly the better team, so that's a pretty fair result. Okay, so that was our games this week. Who would you pick as your player of the week?
I picked Kranich. 6 saves, second consecutive shutout, broke my heart. So I picked her as the player of the week.
Yeah, until that game, I would have gone with Manon for scoring that brace, but had to go with Kranich. She was just absolutely on fire. And I think it maybe gave Matt Beard something to consider, because I was a little surprised when she started, because she'd been starting mostly because Stout was dealing with whatever leg issue she was dealing with. But she looked to be healthy, but Kranich gets another start. So I don't know if it's maybe Matt Beard giving her a chance to audition for the backup role in next year when Abby Smith comes back, or if he's maybe already decided to go with her and he's giving her the time because she's the starter and poor Libby Stout is going to be going bye-bye because you don't need 3 keepers unless you're the Flash, then apparently you do. Still got a log jam in there. Have to figure out who goes. So, yeah, we both picked Kranich. Sweet for her. And now we're going to get to the games coming up this week, starting with the game on Wednesday. We got Boston versus Houston in Boston. Danielle, who you got?
I got a 1-1 draw. I can't see Houston. I can't see another shutout, but Boston is a team that likes to prove themselves at the end, cause a little trouble when they have nothing to lose. They've done it a couple seasons now. So I think they're going to continue just kind of being a thorn in the side of every other team. So I got a 1-1 draw.
I don't know if it's going to be a draw, but I could not really decide who was going to take this. I'm actually leaning towards a 1-0 Houston win. Probably the X factor for me is going to be Miss Carly, because Randy Waldron's going to be under a tremendous amount of pressure to play her because of all the drama that's been going on that we are not going to talk about because that's been rehashed to death. So she's probably going to be the difference between Houston winning and Houston losing. And hopefully for Houston, she's on her game and they can start salvaging a bit from what was supposed to be a playoff season that has quickly gone downhill. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and give them a 1-0 win. Let's see the next game. Next game, Washington Spirit versus Western New York Flash in Washington. What do you think?
Looking at my predictions that I wrote down, I realized I predicted a lot of draws this week. So sorry in advance. I had a 2-2. Flash, they can definitely produce goals. Jess McDonald, all that. Spirits, got their stuff together. I got a 2-2 draw.
I'm going to get so much crap from Flash fans. I'm going with a 2-1 Washington win. I just think Washington is maybe just a little bit more cohesive. And I don't know what the status is going to be of Kennedy. Hopefully she's gotten over her hammy issues and is able to play this game because the defense looks so much better with her and Abby Dahlkemper as center back rather than the 2 Abbies. So If she plays, I could maybe see them pulling out a draw. If she doesn't, I think that'll. I mean, which sounds strange because she's a defender, but she's the youngest player on the roster, but she is one of the most level-headed of any player out there. So I think if she plays, they might get a draw. If she doesn't, I got Washington winning. But also, I'm going to go with the 2-1 Washington win. And I just pissed off so many Flash fans. Next game, Houston Dash versus Orlando Pride in Houston. Final game of that rivalry series.
I kept going back and forth. I think Houston's going to score. Kept going back and forth with Orlando, so kind of going with my theme. I have a draw. Originally, I had a shutout, but I think Orlando's going to get one. I got a draw. I'm chickening out. This is so terrible. My predictions are the worst.
Hey, nothing wrong with draws in a sport that allows them. Houston struggled against Orlando this season. They'll have Carly back for this one. I think she's going to want to prove a point this week, especially with all the negative criticism. You know what? I'm going to say 1-0 Houston. I'm going to give it to them. I think Orlando still has some issues with their back line. It's got to come together. They're prone to mistakes, and I think Houston might actually pounce on those mistakes and give it to them. So I'm going 1-0 Houston. I just got a feeling about that one. Oh, next game, FC Kansas City versus Sky Blue. What was supposed to be at Children's Mercy Park got moved back to Swope. You going for your team this week or no?
Okay, so I'm going to sound like a homer because yes. I have FCKC 2, Sky Blue 1. Next week we should have Des Scott back. And I think having her back in the midfield is, I mean, we were obviously missing her this week. I think that was really obvious. We had a lot of chances. Heyo's something to prove. I think we're going to score goals. I think we're going to at least put one or two of those chances together. Sky Blue is a little questionable, now with injuries and stuff like that. I got 2-1 FCKC. Sorry for the homer prediction.
Well, allow me to join you in that prediction, but I got 2-0 Sky Blue, Kansas City. I think they're gonna be mad about losing to Boston. I think they're gonna want to come out and prove that it wasn't just a fluke. I think, like you said, getting Des Scott back will help stabilize the midfield. Could probably see some of those chances from Heyo that didn't fall in this time. Knocking on wood that does, because, she deserves something after busting her ass and getting nothing last game. So hopefully it'll work out for them, and I do have Kansas City winning this one. Chicago Red Stars versus Seattle Reign in Chicago.
So it depends which Seattle we get. There's kind of a tale of two, or Seattle. Maybe I said Seattle. I got home at 1 a.m. Just bear with me. I got a 1-1 draw. I think Seattle is coming back to like you were saying earlier, the Seattle of old. I think Chicago's just clicking right now. So you got two good teams. Are we still on the air? You went away. I got a 1-1 draw.
Am I back now?
You're a talking symbol, but I hear you, so that's good.
Oh, okay, I don't know how I'm a talking symbol, but let's just go with it, like we do every week on this show. Chicago beat them earlier this season. Like you said, they're starting to click. They added McCaffrey since that last game, and she and Press seemed to, from what I could see from that game against Sky Blue, they seem to be working really well. So I'm going to say Chicago, but I I could see Seattle maybe if Dr. Jekyll Seattle shows up and not Mr. Hyde Seattle. They could maybe sneak out a draw, but yeah, I'm going with Chicago. But it's going to be like a 1-0. It's not going to be a lopsided score.
Oh no.
Don't know if Hope's going to be back, but if she isn't, Kottmeyer's a very capable goalkeeper. And I think she's starting to get a bit of a bad rap from some Hope fans. So leave Kottmeyer alone, people. She's just fine. So
She's just doing her job.
Exactly. So I got Chicago going 1-0 on that one. Final game of the season. Final of the season. Yeah, I wish. Final game
fast.
Is our game of the week. Actually, it is Portland Thorns versus Boston Breakers in Portland.
Not a draw for this game. Definitely not. I think that Portland, you were talking earlier, Portland had this problem before, is when they are down so many players, it takes a while for stuff to start clicking, for the chemistry to start going. I don't think they're going to be happy after the last game. I got Portland 3, Boston 1. I think Boston's going to score a goal. I think they got, it took them so long to get that goal, and now they're coming. I think they're going to get one, but I got Portland winning by a few.
Yeah, Boston's started to get some things going. Possibly because they no longer have McCaffrey, possibly because they got Dowie, maybe a combination of the two. I don't know. So, but they're starting to get going, but unless Portland screws up, yeah, I find it hard to bet against Portland, especially in that part, because they have been so good at home this season. So I am going with a 3-0. I don't think Boston's going to get one, but I definitely think Portland's going to win this one. Okay, so those were our slated games. We got 6 this week. Anything else you want to add? Any final rants?
Just hurting. Just soccer's. I came back this weekend. I took a soccer sabbatical after the Sweden game. Came back this weekend to disappointment. So maybe life was easier on my soccer sabbatical. Life was easier. It was great. It hurts.
But it wouldn't be as much fun.
But, I do. I love my team too much to ever do that. I guess I'll end with I love Heather O'Reilly.
It's a great note to end on.
I thought so.
One final note before we wrap this up. News breaking today. To the surprise of absolutely no one, the Orlando Pride have announced the long-rumored signing of Lisa DeVanna.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, shocking that Tom Sermani would sign a Matilda.
That's weird.
Yeah, no one could have seen that one coming. Yeah, I don't know if they have enough time for her and Morgan to click. Maybe they do, and Orlando salvages. Again, they're pretty much almost out of it, like Houston and unfortunately Kansas City. Sorry. Maybe they can salvage something, build something for 2017. Kind of hoping they don't, because I would like to see Orlando in the bottom 3. Not because I hate Orlando. I do not hate Orlando. But because their first-round draft pick next year is currently the property of the Flash. And if the Flash can have a good season and get a top 3 pick in what is a stacked draft class, I will be a very happy camper. So nothing against Orlando. I just want another good young prospect for the Flash. So
that's fair.
But any other team, I would like to see them click and maybe start to build a good base for 2017. So we'll see how that goes. It was just a bit of news that broke this morning. So
I definitely think it's a 2017 move, and hopefully DeVanna's second go around in the NWSL ends a little better. We'll see. I think it will be better than the first time around.
Yeah, from everything I've seen, it sounds like she's grown up quite a bit since
Yep.
then. Don't know, maybe part of that is being handed the armband by Stadge, so maybe seems to
I
have.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I can't see you because I don't know when you're talking and stopping. But yeah, that was the intention of the armband. I was talking to during the World Cup in Winnipeg last year, talking to this nice Aussie couple, and I might have been trash talking to Vanna a little bit. I don't know, and she scored, so I deserved for her to score because I trash talked her. But they're saying that was the move, is get her to grow up, and it's working. So I hope she does well for Orlando.
Yeah, I hope she does well too. A race, what was a bad way to leave the league last time, so hopefully Tom Sermani can get the best out of her like he did when she was with the national team. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Fits, personal fits excluded. So that is going to do it for us. Catch you next week for the God, and I can't even talk. Words are hard today. Catch you next week for the wrap up of the games this weekend, starting Wednesday with that Boston versus Houston game. So that'll do it for us. I never like filling in for DJ because he always does this so natural, and I'm a bit of a spaz at it. So anyway, that'll do it for us. Do our little wave, raise our hands. Yeah, bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.